Hey everybody, IzzyCraze365 here, and welcome back to Sentinels of the Multiverse, the video game. Recently, Sentinels of the Multiverse video game, especially the stuff in Season 2, has been coming out about at the same rate as the card game stuff has within the past couple of months. That is to say, we haven't really gotten any updates. Recently, the set by Greater Than Games Oblivion has finally been shipped, and I actually am really happy. I just got my box in the mail yesterday, opened it up, had a chance to look through all the stuff. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to actually play it. But with that in mind, I decided to take a quick look back at the video game and realized that while we're waiting for Oblivion, we actually did get two new heroes with unlocks. And we have a mini pack 4 that has recently come out. So, just wanted to go through this real quick and just talk about it a little bit. So, just going to start a new game. So, the new heroes. Well, first off, we got a new villain. The new villain is... Where are you, Choke Point? There we are, Choke Point. I really love how Choke Point plays. I've not played her in the game yet, the video game. I have played her in the card game, and she's a lot of fun. She really messes with the game state, especially if you have equipment-based heroes, especially the Termination heroes, Absolute Zero, Bunker, and Unity, who, as you can see up here, are her nemesis. She's a lot of fun to play against, rather, but not going to be the focus of this. As for the rest of Mini Pack 4 that has recently come out, we've also got the Celestial Tribunal, which is another very fun and interesting deck where effectively heroes are put on trial and, damage is dealt accordingly. But what we want to focus on right now is the two new heroes, Benchmark, who supply and demand is currently unlocked, or locked rather, and Stuntman. Where are you, Stuntman? There's Stuntman. So, these two characters are a part of the Oblivion set. Stuntman, along with pretty much every hero that comes out in the core set there, is a reformed villain. He is actually apostate, or I'm sorry, not Ambuscade, seen here. Which I always think is kind of funny, because if you actually see images of Ambuscade or Stuntman, like, the reason why he wears the mask is because his, movie star face was scarred. As Stuntman, he just kind of doesn't care, just covers it up with a bandage. And if you look at his, it just looks so messed up. Yeah, his incapacitated side, he's like actually melted. It's actually what's like in his mind. Now, Stuntman Action Hero is the character that you can unlock, and his face is a little bit more grizzled. Benchmark, on the other hand, is a new hero. His catchphrase is the new standard, which is the name of his power. He's really kind of cool, but he is effectively the RoboCop of RevCore. RevCore effectively got this guy in debt, and they built him a suit. They've effectively, all of his stuff is they're giving him new software, poking at his brain, new hardware, and he's becoming the new base superhero. His alternate, which we're going to try to unlock, is Supply and Demand, where I believe he is gone rogue, or RevCore is trying to get him back. And as you can see down here, their nemesis are Oblivion. That's when they come out. So Stuntman focuses all on attacking when it's not his turn, and Benchmark is all about his hardware and software cards, having them, kind of balanced out. So, what do you have to do to unlock these two? Well, let's take a quick look here. So, Benchmark. Real quick, Benchmark's got a ton of cool cards, but Benchmark, you need to play 2 games with Benchmark. First, you need to win a game, and it's a team battle, and there's math involved. So, you need to win a team mode game where you play at least 100 minus 10x equipment cards and destroy at least 50 minus 5x devices. Now, what is the X? The X is the number of RevCore related decks that are in the game. So in a team game, you can have up to 5 villains and 5 heroes. And it always has to be an even number, because the number of heroes has to equal the number of villains. Now, according to a list that was recently released, there are in fact 5 villains and 5 heroes that are related to RevCore that can be used, and they go as follows. On the villain side, you have Ambuscade, the team version. You have Baron Blade, you have Friction, you have Freight Train, and you have Playgrad. On the hero side, you have Benchmark, obviously. You have Expatriate, you have Setback, you have Parse, and last but not least, a character who has not been released yet, you have the Luminary, which is the hero version of Baron Blade. So you have to play a game with those 5 heroes and 5 villains, and you need to play a certain number of equipments and destroy a certain number of devices. Now, if you have all 10 of them in the game, you just need to win the game. You don't need to, there's no restrictions, because 100 minus 10x, where x is 10, 100 minus 100. Same with 50 minus 5 times 10 is 0. That said, Luminary's not out yet, so at best, you're going to have to play 10 equipment cards, which is easy for that set of heroes, and destroy 5 devices, which is a little bit more tricky because devices are a little bit harder. The nice thing about this unlock is it's not telling you where you need to fight, so you can pretty much decide what environment you want to play on. And we'll go over that in a minute. So, Stuntman. Stuntman is, you have to play 3 games with him. First, you need to beat Classic Ambuscade. So, let's jump over to Ambuscade. You need to beat Classic Ambuscade. Just, you know, he's arguably one of the easiest villains to beat, in my opinion. You literally just bring out your heavy hitters, and you can just out-damage him. The only issue you'll ever have is if you get unlucky and his personal cloaking device constantly pops up. You can easily get around that with either a Dark Visionary or a Haka just eating the card. After you do that, you need to do a team battle against Ambuscade. I forget where is the other Ambuscade? Here we go, Ambuscade. With this version of Ambuscade, he is a little bit harder to deal with, mostly because of his setup to call out allies, which he does very well. Hunting in a pack, reveal 6 cards, any Nemesis cards. Like, if he gets Glamour, Revolt, Desert Eagle, and Manta, like, it becomes an issue. However, again, it doesn't specify what heroes you need to use, and it doesn't specify what environment you need to be in, and it doesn't even specify what other villains you need to fight in this team, so you could make this pretty easy against yourself. The last thing which you need to do, I forgot to mention, when fighting both versions of Ambuscade in the classic mode and in the team mode, none of your heroes can be incapacitated. So you can blitz through this, or you can, do it slow and meticulous. The final fight you need to do to unlock Supply and Demand, Action Hero Stuntman, is a battle in Pike Industries, which is the Acid realm. Pike Industries, featured here. I hope I'm pointing at the right direction. Let me just see. Yeah, featured here. And, a bunch of VATs, most of these things will, they do everything damage, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But the trick here is you have to fight one of the harder villains, and the harder villain is the Chairman. So you have to fight the Chairman in Pike Industries. So you have to fight Chairman Pike in Pike Industries. Thus far, nothing revolving around Stuntman involving in this third fight. What you do have to do, however, is you have to have the Sentinels, the Southwest Sentinels, in your party when fighting this. And here's the kicker. Every hero except for Mainstay, this guy, needs to be incapacitated at the end of the fight, which means you need to win, and he's the only one that's left standing. Now, the trick here is Pike Industries and the Chairman do a ton of damage, especially to low-health heroes, so these guys have trouble. So what you're going to need to do is build up a team that can, withstand that, and that's what we're going to be going over now. So, those are the general unlocking conditions for both Benchmark and Stuntman. And I'm going to play a couple of quick games just to go over, well, what I think is the best strategy to unlock these two guys. Anyway, yeah, so let's get started on that. So we're going to start out, again, mini pack 4. We're going to start out with the Stuntman unlocks. He's a little bit easier, at least in my opinion. So, what do we have to do? Pretty simple. Ambuscade, environments. It can be anywhere. We want something that's not really going to hurt us, someplace that's not really going to help us, so we're just going to pick the block because the block pretty much fights itself. And heroes, we want to blitz him, so I'm just going to pick some heavy damage dealers. And as soon as the game gets started, what I'm going to do is I am going to just speed up the time limit over the match. I'm not really going to explain a whole lot, just because it's Ambuscade. This is a prerequisite unlock condition. This should not be that hard for people to do. At least I'm hoping it's not too hard for anybody to do. Which unity do I want to do? Boom, boom, boom. And just for the hell of it, we'll take Dark Visionary as well. Okay, so why do I have this set up? Unity has the highest damage output, but her setup time is a little bit problematic. So what we're doing here is we're getting Legacy and Amex to pretty much muscle out her golems, and then we have Dark Visionary to keep an eye on Ambuscade and the blocks deck, and yeah, Team Leader Tachyon to just go for it. So I'm going to be quiet for the rest of this part, but here's the fight. All right, and that's pretty much how you beat Ambuscade 1, 2, 3, no problem. Again, I'm sped that up a little bit, but pretty much was just using 4 support heroes just to power up Unity, because the Raptor bots are what do the bulk of the damage there. So, yeah, all right, cool. Anyway, that's the first game to against Stuntman. Now we need to beat him in a team battle. So let's head on back up to here. So yeah, now second battle. And again, it's important that no one got incapacitated over the course of that game, so that was a total success. Now we're going to have to do the same thing in a team mode to defeat Ambuscade, again, with no one getting incapacitated. And again, I'm just going to speed this up real quick because, yeah, shouldn't make too much of a difference. But let's see what we can do. All right. So yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do a Ambuscade, and we're gonna do a couple of characters that have no way of dealing with ongoings. So we're gonna do Fright Train and Plague Rat because he can hit everything. We're also gonna go back to the block again because it can hit enemies. And now for heroes, we want people that can do lots of damage very quickly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Haka. Um, we're still going to take Tachyon because she's just useful. And for the last one, we can either take Legacy for the boost or somebody else who can hit a lot of targets. Might be best to take Tempest. Actually, we're going to go with Legacy just because the extra damage is going to be crucial. Woo! That was a close one. Um, but yeah, as you saw there, was literally on the line. I decided to go 3v3. It probably would have worked a little bit better if you did 5, but then you have more enemies to worry about. I specifically picked enemies that did not have nemesis in them because Glamour is the problem card in the Ambuscade deck, and unfortunately, for both the Stuntman and the benchmark unlocks, you need to have him in the game. So minimizing Glamour's effect to negate damage dealt to nemesis and have it redirect is crucial. But with that done, that is game 2 of unlocking Stuntman, and now we're gonna, well, move on over to game 3, A lot of fun. Okay, and we're back. So the last thing you need to do to unlock Stuntman is you need to have defeat the chairman in Pike Industries with the Sentinels on the team. So we've got the chairman, and we've got Pike Industries. Where are you, Pike Industries? Pike, 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 Pike. There's Pike Industries. And now we need to have at least the Sentinels there. And the trick is, Mainstay is the only hero that can still be standing by the end of the fight. So that means we've got a lot of wiggle room here. Now, the Sentinels have the lowest HP in the game, which is a little bit of a problem. And yeah, the start of the villain turn, if there are at least 300 bosses. I forget what his I wish we could take a look at the operative, because I forget what her text is. Actually, we can double check that real quick. Whoops, menu. So the operative, as a reminder, what can she do? Villains, the chairman. She puts H-2 whenever a villain card is destroyed, the operative deals the hero target with that much. Alright, so there is in fact no penalty for having more heroes in play in this game. So, as I was saying, we're going to do the chairman in Pike Industries, with the heroes being the Sentinels. And we literally just want to have as many plays as humanly possible to get what we need to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the classic setup that I love, which is going to be Legacy, Team Leader Tachyon. These two are just amazing together. Team Leader Tachyon just ensures everybody has cards in hand. With that in mind, we're also going to throw in Skyscraper, who's going to be a little bit of a problem, but should be okay. And then ultimately we need someone who can deal with the environment, or just minimize the underbosses. So I'm picking Skyscraper instead of Haka. Actually, no, with this setup we want Tempest. Alright, so the reason I'm going with this setup instead is Legacy will be able to buff Tempest, and he'll be able to hit everything for a ton of damage. And then from there, we're just going to be we're going to have Haka play cleanup. I like Haka, and I like Legacy, but Team Leader Tachyon is always a must pick. Alright, this might do it. And boom! Stuntman action hero. Whew. That took a lot longer and was a lot more down to the wire than I'd hoped, but we did it. So yeah, that's Stuntman. So yeah, slight recommendation, alteration to what I just did there. If you want to end this game earlier, do not play Wraith's signature card because just playing around it to get him to go down is so hard. But we did it. And now, thanks to that, we have Stuntman action hero. There he is. Until the start of your next turn, increase damage dealt by Stuntman by 1. Which is great considering he plays stuff outside of his turn. And it's so shiny. All scarred up. Alright, so that's the first unlockable for Mini Pack 4, the beginning of the Oblivion set. Hope you all enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, whatnot down below. Wasn't a fantastic strategy, but it did end up working out. It's just a matter of getting stabilized. And, yeah, the hardest part of that was actually killing everybody else off. Again, I think it would have been a lot easier. Just don't play that last signature card, and you should be golden. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and see you around. Bye-bye.